I made these 2 tote bags out of bandanas and I absolutely love how they turned out. There are 2 different straps on them, short 6-inch straps and longer 13-inch straps, so you can use them for a variety of things and they are the perfect size. You'll need 6 bandanas to make your own bandana tote bag. I use 3 of one color and 3 of the other. You'll also need batting or some sort of stabilizer. I like the warm and natural batting that you can find on Amazon. Start by trimming off the border of each bandana so that it is 18 inches wide by 18 inches tall. You'll do this for all 6 bandanas. I'm going to refer to the color of bandanas that I use, but you can use whatever ones you want. So you're going to take one of the rust colored bandanas and you're going to cut a 9-inch by 18-inch rectangle for a pocket. Then you're going to cut 2 4-inch by 16-inch rectangles for the short handles. Then you're going to take one of the navy blue bandanas and you're going to cut 4 strips that are 4 inches by 18 inches. These will be used for the long handles. The remaining 4 bandanas will be used for the outer part of the bag as well as the lining of the bag. Using one of the 18-inch bandanas as a guide, cut 2 large squares of batting. You will use this to quilt the outer part of the bag. Cut 2 strips that are 1 3/4 inches wide and 16 inches long, and 2 more strips that are 1 3/4 inches wide by 30 inches long. These strips will be used to reinforce the bag handles. To make the shorter handles, fold each piece in half and iron flat. When you open, you'll notice that there is a crease in the center. Fold the edge over to the center and iron flat. Then repeat for the other side. Now when you open the handle piece, there's going to be a 2-inch section in the center. This is where your 1 3/4 inch by 16-inch piece of batting will go. Lay it in the center, fold the edges over, and give it a good ironing so that it lays flat. Fold your handle piece over one more time and iron. Now you're going to stitch close to the edge to close off this seam, and then you're going to flip the handle piece over and top stitch the other side so that it matches. This is what your finished handle looks like. Repeat for the other short handle. To make the longer handles, take 2 of the 4-inch by 18-inch pieces and stitch them together to make one long strip. Repeat for the other 2 pieces. The remaining steps are exactly the same ones as to make the short handles, by folding the fabric in half, placing the batting in, and then bringing the edges over, stitching in place, and then top stitching to finish off the handles. The pocket, fold the 9-inch by 18-inch rectangle in half with the fold on the bottom. Use pins to mark off a small area that you will use to turn the pocket right side out once you're finished sewing. Sew around the edges and the top, taking care not to sew in between those pins. Then turn the pocket right side out and lay it flat. Poke out the corners and give it a nice ironing. Fold the edges of that small opening closed, bring it together, and pin the pocket onto your bag, that the side that has the opening is on the bottom. Then machine stitch around the edge of the pocket along the sides and the bottom, making sure not to sew the top. One of your outer bandanas on top of one of the large squares of batting and sew vertical lines from the top down to the bottom about 1 inch apart to create a quilted look on the outside. Repeat for the other outer piece of the bag. Should now have 2 short handles, 2 long handles, 2 lining pieces, one with a pocket sewn on the front, and 2 quilted outer pieces. We are now ready to assemble the bag. Sew the outer pieces together along the sides and bottom with right sides of the fabric facing each other. Box the corners of the bag to give it more shape. To do this, while the bag is still inside out, you're going to bring the corners to a point. Should look like a triangle with the center seam going down the center. Then you're going to measure 2 inches down and pin it. Sew along the 2-inch line. Once you have sewn this seam, you're going to cut off the excess fabric and repeat for the other corner so that both corners are boxed. Turn it right side out. The bottom should look like this. The lining in a similar fashion, sewing along the side and the bottom, making sure that you leave about a 6-inch opening along one of the sides so that you can turn it right side out later. Also ensure that the pocket is on the inside of the lining. Then you're going to box both of the corners of the lining in the same way that you did it for the outer part of the bag. Pin the short handles onto the bag 5 inches from the edge and the long handles onto the bag 3 inches from the edge. Do this for both sides. Then stitch the handles to the bag close to the edge. This just holds them in place while we assemble the rest of the bag. The outer part of the bag should be right side out. The lining part of the bag should be inside out. Place the outer part inside the lining, matching side seams. Pin along the top to hold in place. You should only be able to see batting when you look into the bag, and you should only see the wrong side of the lining on the outside of the bag for now. Sew along the top edge of the bag all the way around. Turn the bag right side out through the opening that you left in the lining fabric. Then stitch that small 6-inch opening closed with the sewing machine or by hand and place the lining into the bag. The final step is to top stitch around the entire top edge. This will reinforce the handles one more time and give it a finished look. Your bag is now complete. The finished bag is about 16 inches long, 16 inches wide, and has 6-inch straps as well as 13-inch straps.